let's go ahead and start. So here we are. Top Realtors Tell All. We're going to have some fun today. I am just so honored and privileged to be able to be on with such amazing rock star real estate agents in the state of Arizona. My name's Denise Meyer, and what I'd like to do is just start with, let's just introduce ourselves and share just, who we are, how long in the business, and your company. What's your role in your company? So let's just start with that. And how about we throw in there, what are your goals for 2020 as well? So who'd like to start?
I can start. Can you hear me? Okay.
We're good.
Rebecca Durfey with West USA Realty, and been in the business almost 20 years. I want to use less toilet paper for 2020, pretty much. As far as business, I just think as much as we can help these people get through this little bit of a tough time for those who are suffering from unemployment and those who've been hit with the stock market, just help them feel some security and some calming.
Thank you so much for that, Rebecca. I appreciate that so much. I've already started taking notes, so I don't know about you guys. If you see me looking down, because I'm probably taking more notes than anybody. Let's go keep with the trend of ladies first. Lauren.
Oh, hi, how's everyone doing?
Hey, Lauren.
Lauren Rosin. I run the Lauren Rosin team with West USA Realty. We're out of Arizona and San Diego. I've been in the industry since 2003 with a finance background. Goals for 2020 is, I don't know, I really think it's just to kind of stay to our nose to the ground and just keep pushing through and staying positive. And basically my job as a team lead is to be everyone's cheerleaders and support system. So that's really my goal, is to keep everyone's head in the right place.
It's a great goal. I love that so much. All right, how about let's go up to Oleg.
Hi, my name is Oleg Bortman. I'm one of the owners of the brokery. Our goal this year is to do roughly $175 million. It's a boutique firm. We have only 15 agents. And also another goal of ours is to gain another 3 or 4 experts in the market in different areas that we're currently not in.
I love that, experts. Well, maybe you'll find them on here, Oleg. You never know, right?
You never know.
Never know. Hey, how about you, Karl?
Hi, my name is Karl Tunberg. I'm the broker owner for Midland Real Estate. We're a boutique firm based in Tempe, and I just want to ride Oleg's coattails for the rest of the year.
Do what? You're just going to do 174 million, right?
Yeah. Now, last year we did about 56 million on our team, and our goal this year was 75 million. COVID's put a little bit of a bump in the road, but I think we're adjusting, pivoting, and super busy and excited and motivated to continue the rest of the year. I've been a broker since 1991. The majority of my time was spent in public home building, so running home building companies. I had a home building and development company myself, and I decided that when I finally grew up, I wanted to be a realtor. So here I am.
Well, Karl, welcome. You and I have been in the business the same amount of time. I got my license in 1992, I guess. So it makes me younger than you, right? And I've been selling real estate in Arizona the whole time, sold over 3,000 transactions all this time. Became a coach in 2004 and have coached for a couple different companies. And currently I'm teaching a class called Bold, where I travel all over the country, and it's a class on getting agents into production fast. So I'm so excited to have our panel here. And now we also did a poll to find out who else we have on the call. And let's just take a look at this. We have got, let's take a look at our results. We have agents from all walks here. We've got several 20 years in the business, 10 to 20 years, 5 to 9, and a lot of them in the 1 to 4 years in business. And congratulations for those who are 1 year or less in the business. That's pretty amazing. Good for you guys. Well, here's what I'm going to go ahead and start with today. And, you know, here's what's fun as a coach. I gave this group, you guys, this list of questions. And of course, I'm probably not going to ask any of them. No, just kidding. Here is the question, though, that I'd like to start with, that I believe is really going to jumpstart this conversation. And again, I know I'm going to learn as much from all of you as you do from this group. So thank you so much in advance for pouring in to the other agents on this call and webinar. Here was a question that one of my leaders asked the first week that we were home at the stay-at-home orders. And I would love for you guys to think about this and incorporate it at some point. Here was the question they asked: what do you want your business to look like on the tail end of this? And I thought it was such a great question, because this is the great equalizer, right? Every single city, county, country has been given a level playing field. And, you know, I've heard it been said that the greatest economic shift, or the greatest transfer of wealth, will occur during a shifting market. And this is something that none of us prepared for, or ever took a class on, or ever thought would occur. You know, I don't know about you, I didn't put pandemic 2020 on my vision board, right? So I would like to just start off, what would you like your vision, your business to look like at the tail end of this? Because there will be a tail end. Who'd like to start?
I mean, I could jump in if you want. This is Oleg. I think the one key factor that we would love for our business to change is be more respectful of our finances that come in. Right, when everyone's selling a lot of homes, everybody markets, spends money on online leads. But when you start digging into your P&L, these last 3-4 weeks, it gives you an opportunity to really dig down and see where your best ROI is. So it's given myself a lot of time to spend with my agents, as well as a team lead for them, and to have them analyze their business and see how much money was used in wrong areas. So I think this time has been very, very effective for us as business owners, plus the agents, on really creating a business plan and tracking where your best return on investment is.
Yeah, I've heard it said, Oleg, that great markets hide our flaws. Mm-hmm. Like what we spend it on, right?
For sure.
Yeah, great point. I love that so much. Who else?
I can go. So basically, as soon as this really hit, I told my team that I really expected them to really get their CRMs dialed in and really just update everything. And then personally, as the team lead, I've been really going through all the workflows and all the drips and revising them and cleaning them up. So we've really been taking this time is to really just get everything dialed in. It's funny, working at home, I almost feel more productive because you work 16 hours instead of, 10. But so we've just really been taking the time for that. And then really I've been really having everyone on the team go through their finances, their credit card statements, or their P&Ls, and really just figure out where they can cut costs. I'd advise people to call their cell phone users, companies, and ask them for a reduction in cost, or call your alarm company and get a discount, because you can save $5-10 on a subscription. It's going to add up. So my whole thing is really just, this is the time to really get organized.
To really get organized. Excellent. And cut costs, check your expenses, and prepare. I love that. Thank you, Lauren. Who's out? Who next? Who next? Who's next?
Who's next? I'll go. So one of the things that we definitely can do, whether we're at home or at the office alone or whatever, is reconnect with our database and our VIPs, our vendor partners and builders that we work with, and really check in with them, see how they're doing, offer assistance if it's appropriate, but really just connect with people and try to build on that relationship that we have and offer something back to them. So I've spent a lot of time on the phone, basically reconnecting with people I haven't talked to in a while, connecting more with my VIPs that I do so on a regular basis, but spending a lot more time on the phone. And then also doing kind of up the levels of videos that I was doing from 2 or 3 times a month to a couple every other day. So really stepping up, putting the message out there that the world is not on pause, that things are still going on. There's still real estate that's transacting. And our clients in our database want to know, what's the value of my home? Are things getting shaky? Is it still a stable market? How is this thing going to play out? We obviously don't have a crystal ball. We don't know where it's going, but we know what's happening today. We knew it happened last week. Some of us are still very busy and, doing virtual appointments and virtual showings and, doing deals. So I think it's really important to connect with the people that put us where we are.
Karl, I heard you say the word relationship, and so far that's pretty much what I've heard from everybody. Getting in whatever words we used or phrase, getting into relationships with people during this time when we actually don't meet them face to face. Yeah, I thank you so much for that. All right, who else?
And so I'll go ahead. I think I'm unique in the group in that I don't have a team. I have me and my assistant. And so I have a little bit different approach to what I'm doing. But I think just like Karl, I'm doing more videos. I think that's a good way to get in front of everybody. So I use the company and get those videos out, giving them updates on the market. And then also really connecting with my database. I'm actually sending Marco Polos or even videos instead of text messages so that they can actually see my face. So that we're able to connect, even though we're not face to face, we're able to feel that relationship growing. And I think more than anything, just trying to create a calm and really, really staying connected with that database. There's been some that we sent Pizza Hut cards to, and just so they have some dinners and they have some relief when they've maybe had a hard time. So I think it's learning about our clients to the point where we become friends or a go-to person, especially when it comes to the home, but in other ways too.
So again, back to that relationship. It sounds to me, Rebecca, like you're a highly relational person and realtor, and that's how you do business.
There's transactional realtors and there's relationship realtors, and I am definitely a relationship realtor. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I've got to know that about you just from this process. So thank you so much for that. All right, you guys. So let's just, for those of you who are jumping on, we have about 32, 38 folks on here so far. So what I'd like to do is if you have questions, go ahead and put those in the chat box. If you scroll your mouse towards the bottom, there's a little chat box. You can click on that and that can add you in. Let's go ahead and jump into some of the questions that we have. And I know that a lot of us, you guys have sent me your notes, and so I know we have a lot of the same sources of business. I'd like to jump into those sources of business right now, and not so much like naming all of them. What I'd like to hear from each of you is your main source of business and how you've had to pivot or shift or change what you're doing with it in this current circumstance. Does that make sense? Like, what's that change that you've had to make, if any? And maybe that's the answer too. You haven't had to. What's that pivot or shift that you've had to make? And what's that current source of business? So who'd like to start with that?
I'll go.
Thanks, Karl.
So I have just an overall database with about 400 people in it, mainly just recent clients and people I've either listed or sold their home within the last couple of years. Then I have another level, which is, I call them my VIPs. Those are people that I want to be in a great relationship with, that refer me more than one deal a year, or some of them refer me up to 10 deals a year. So they're, those are my people. Those are the people that I am going to spend a lot of time on and that I want to be in relationships with. Those are the people that during this time that I've, called on and spent a lot of time on the phone with them, finding out what's going on in their lives, where they're at, how this pandemic is affecting them. But they're also the people that are sending me deals right now too. So, that's probably my number one source of business. Number two is the database. I've been getting referrals off of that all, on a regular basis through this whole situation too. And then
Karl, are they just calling you, or do you have to do work to, go help them?
It's a combination of all that. Yeah. So both. Some of them are calling to give me market updates and to tell me what's going on in the world, and some of them are reaching out to me to find out what's going on. So it's these are people that I'm good friends with, that I have done business with in the past and will do in the future. So very important kind of core area of my business. And then builders is the other one. I work with several builders and doing contingency programs and helping builders out, understanding the market and evaluating things as well. So those are kind of probably my top three. And then there's a whole other list of stuff that's not quite as important.
Excellent. I love that so much. So again, what I heard you say is you're working with those core folks who you're spending a lot of time with. And so Karl, again, I'd like to dive deep into this. The folks that are reaching out to you, you mentioned that you are doing up to 2 to 3 social media posts a day. Is that in those posts? I apologize for not watching those.
Yeah.
In those posts, is there education about, maybe what is forbearance, or what is, I'm just making it up, and then they reach out to you because of that, or how are they deciding to reach out to you?
There's so many posts right now in social media on stats and programs and all that stuff. So I've kind of tried to gear my stuff more towards like a sneak preview of a new listing coming in North Central Phoenix, or out virtually showing homes in North Scottsdale today, and showing some video of that, just trying to give people an idea that, hey, some of us are still doing business and we're adjusting to the new normal of what we're in now, and how to do that. So more kind of off the cuff, out and about, doing business.
Excellent. So you're just showing that, hey, if you want to buy or sell a house, let's go. There's just a different way to do it.
Yep, absolutely.
Awesome. Who else would like to add into to this part of the conversation?
I would just say, probably, it sounded like all of us have been around for 9/11, for the 2008, for the crash, and then this pandemic. So I think experience tells us how to pivot. I don't even know if we know exactly what we do all the time. We just know something needs to be done, and then we kind of learn what that is. And so at least for me, I feel like this is a time where there's so much uncertainty and fear. And what people seem to be doing, the market seems to be doing, is thinking that the housing market is in the same distress as the economy in general. And I think what we can do is help them understand that the housing market beats to its own drum, and it might be impacted. I'm sure it will be impacted. It has been impacted, but it's not going to be the same way as, it's not on fire, it's not crashing. And so I think just like Karl said, I think all of us probably try and stay very connected to our database so that they know they have a resource that can help them understand what's happening. And I can't tell you how many times I hear people say, well, I should offer 25% less right now, or I should, sellers are probably just crazy trying to sell their homes. And it's not really like that. So with all of us having more experience, maybe if you're a new agent, I would tell you that over years, at least in my business, and probably all of us, you get referral, and you get, you have residual from past clients. And so it starts to build a real good form and foundation that helps us get through some of these hard times. As a new agent, you're trying to figure out, is this going to be okay? Am I going to make it through this? And you will. It will be fine. It's a good market. It's a great career. We just have to provide some stability and be the voice of reason for the market. And people will turn to you. They will naturally consider you the expert.
Rebecca, I think it was you. Maybe it was Lauren. I'm sorry if I steal your thunder. And I've quoted
You look
you.
exactly alike.
It's got to be exactly you. I've quoted you. I'm pretty sure it was you, where you said you were sharing with your clients that we were a really great market, and now we're just a great market. Was that you?
It was, but I got that from Tina Tambor. So she's saying it was on fire, crazy, 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 and now it's just on fire. So and then, you know, I would suspect all of us are in this, but I closed a few last week, closing a few this week. I have a few coming on the market. The market is still beating. There are some definite hurdles. There are some definite, some roadblocks that have occurred, of course, but people still need to buy and sell homes, and they are buying and selling homes.
Awesome. I think that's one of the most important messages that I was working to get across today. I just love the way you said that. Who else would like to add your source of business, and if you've had to make a shift or a pivot in how you work with them, your largest source? Who would like to add to this?
Well, I know my listings went up pretty drastically. And so as soon as this started happening, I figured we needed to go virtual and digital. So I immediately went and had videos made of every single listing. And then with the occupied homes, we're making sure they viewed the video, show us their pre-qual, and then we're allowing them in. And honestly, with the occupied, something we did was we actually make it where we put on the market Monday or Tuesday, but we don't allow showings until Saturday. And we have like a 4 or 5 hour window with half-hour slots. And what's cool about it is that it's creating competition. So we're getting multiple offers and we're getting over ask. So it's actually starting to like become like almost a trend. We're still seeing a lot. Now this is Arizona and San Diego market. You know, I think we got to be really clear how we're talking. This is an Arizona market conversation. The rest of the country's not doing so well. As you guys all know, we've been a heavy sellers market because our inventory has been under 2 months. A healthy market is considered 7 to 8 months of inventory. So even though we're up 21% according to Cromford last week in the last month and a half, we're still very low inventory. So we're still a seller's market, but I'm also trying to convince sellers to price accordingly because we still have to appraise. I don't know about you guys. Are you starting to see appraisers kind of being a little bit more difficult than they were a month ago? Like I had one that came in $500 short. Like why?
Yeah.
500
money back that you paid for the appraisal and I'll be even. But so just pivoting, our low end market, lower end, I would say like under 300,000. All of a sudden we're able to get all our buyers into contract because the iBuyers such as OfferPad, Open Door, and Zillow have pulled out of the Phoenix market. They're not buying currently. And then I just saw that the hedge funds started pulling out a few weeks ago. So like all of a sudden we're going back to leads that we had a year ago that were 250 in Santan. We couldn't get a contract, and all of a sudden we're getting them offers. So
you know what? That was the price. Well, wait, the price was free. Anyway, that was the price. If you guys aren't all writing that down, that is a key takeaway.
Like go after your leads that are really older, that were in that under 300,000 a mark, and call them and be like, this is when you get in the market. And rates are in the low 3s right now. I mean, so we're really going after the lower end market. I'm not going to lie. We got our butts kicked in the higher end market. We lost a lot of contracts in a few days over that $1 million price range. So I'm just, you know, we're focusing on the jumbo loans are kind of being held back right now. There's not a lot of people doing them. So I think people just need to be really, really aware of what they're doing. As far as listings, we are grilling the lenders. We want to make sure, we want to know what the credit scores are. We want to know that they're not brokering, they're banking. I don't know if you guys have seen a big problem with the brokers is that the banks aren't honoring their locks if they're not at docs, which is insane, where the bankers aren't. So we're not accepting pre-qual letters from brokers, only bankers right now. So we've changed a lot of things, you know, you have to adapt and overcome in this business.
You definitely do, and fast. Wow, those were some great notes. Who else has something to add?
I'd like to jump in too. I think the biggest thing we've been controlling right now is really the content. So back in January, we brought in a graphic designer in-house, all before the pandemic, just because we wanted to streamline more processes here at the brokerage. But if you watch the news, it's all national news. So yes, New York is the epicenter. So when a housing market is down 27% there or 30% in California, everyone thinks that's everywhere. But having experts like Tina from the Cromford Report that's given out information and now controlling that content, that the national market is different than the local market, has been extremely beneficial for us and our entire team. With a graphic designer in-house writing content for us, pulling that local news has been amazing. The amount of calls, like everyone else is echoing here, is we've gotten so many more listings. It's amazing how many buyers, even we do a lot in Arcadia Lights, but even in that mid 500-600 range, you can get 3, 4, 5 offers. Now it's, oh, we're the only ones writing an offer, which is great. So it's been fantastic. A lot of the buyers understand the market is that rates are super low, and not everyone is unemployed or furloughed. And I'd say that's right now, for at least in our market, it's the minority, not the majority, thank God. So it's been great having content in-house, controlling the actual content versus the fear mongering on national TV has been a huge, huge difference for our business.
You know, Oleg, I believe that is an important piece. You know, part of coaching that we talk about, we ask our agents all the time, you know, can you control that? What can you control and what can't you control, right? Yeah. And we've narrowed it down to this. We definitely can't control what COVID does.
Correct.
Banks, appraisers, other agents.
Right.
But we can't control what buyers and sellers say, do, or think, right? We can control what we do and how much of it we do, and what we say and what we think. You know, so I just have a question here. I saw a trend through this, and have you guys considered, and I already know the answer, and I'd love for everyone to hear it, have you guys considered this quote, a vacation at home, a staycation, or are you like me working more hours than you ever do?
It's definitely a lot of hours. It's a lot of work. Yeah. It's actually been great. Like, I think Lauren said it, but I feel I don't get to stay in the home and office very often. So I feel like I'm not so much the last week and a half, because it seemed to be picking right back up again. But for about a good week and a half, I had much more time where I could just drill into my database and call people and make videos and do everything that I need to do. So it was a great opportunity to stop and really get into everything, clean house. And then, in fact, yesterday I was thinking, oh, it's starting to gear up again, you know, starting to be so busy. And so it was really nice to have that time to really focus on getting the paperwork and getting to people, creating those connections. So.
Excellent. Anybody else on vacation, a staycation at home?
I could tell you this,
right.
We have 2 young kids, one in 1st grade and 3rd grade. So I'm very, very blessed that I've had to spend more time at home. Thank God I'm not homeschooling. We have somebody else to help out with that process. But what I've done is I've continued to go into the office every single day. It's very quiet. There's only one other person that shows up at the office. I think by me still getting dressed and going to the office, let me continue the business versus taking a 5 or 6 week hiatus. It's one thing we talk about in coaching our agents. Everybody suffers from the ups and downs in this market, right? When the market is healthy, they close for 30, 40 days, get a big paycheck, and then you get nothing on board for 2, 3 months, and then it's that cyclical up and down. Was if I 5 or 6 straight weeks off and sat at home every day, which I believe a lot of my agents have, they're going to see that I'm always about the consistency. Have I spent more time with the kids? Absolutely. Am I blessed to spend more time with my wife and kids? I thank God for all that time. We're going in the office still for 4 or 5 hours a day where there's no distractions, because usually when we have the whole team here, everyone's walking into the office, hey, Oleg, I have a question with this deal or this deal. It's really focused on our business and how to really expand the business. So I think it was a great mixture of both.
It leads me into, and you guys, if you see a question in the chat box you'd like to tackle, I would love that. There's a question from Barry Digman. He asks, I hear the coaching community, mind share today, market share tomorrow. Does that approach resonate with what the top brokers are doing? What do you think? I'll tackle it then. I'll tackle it. So, you know, for our market center and for the agents that I'm working and coaching with, you know, I keep asking, what do you want your business to look like on the tail end of this? And then they create this vision of what that's like. And the work that they do today is going to create that, right? If they don't do any work, they're not going to have it. So, you know, we've started asking the question, you know, or not the question, we've just said, you know, we have to figure out who needs our services right now, right? Some people are good. They don't need our services, yet we've worked to figure out what value can we provide. So here's a script that I'm sharing with my clients, and maybe you guys will find it useful. It's just this: hey, I wanted to share a couple opportunities about your home. Would that be useful? You know, because, you know, we're being told, you know, a lot of, hey, how are you? Make sure they're safe and okay first. And yet, how are we going to do business? And then, you know, like Karl said, people still have to buy and sell and do things. And so, you know, we've been looking at what opportunity can we give them so we know how do we get into the middle of that conversation, right? You know, if we have clients who are cash rich, house rich, well, you know, gosh, maybe they want to take some of that cash and go invest in more properties. Or perhaps they need to go get a HELOC, a line of credit on, you know, that home or homes they own free and clear while prices are an all-time high, so that they could, you know, put an investment strategy together to go purchase in the future. You know, the opposite end might be, you know, maybe they are cash poor, house rich. And that would be a group where they could go refinance because, you know, let's be honest, at least for the next 6 to 12 months, their home prices are probably an all-time high, right? So refinance now or pull credit out right now, funds out right now, because cash is king. And just having those conversations with them, whether they take it or not, you know, it allows them to say, hey, there's opportunity right now, yes, or no, you know, we're good. So we're just having that conversation with our agents. What does that conversation look like? What is the actual opportunity in the market? Because there is opportunity everywhere, right? All right, you guys, so let's go on. I had a couple other questions for you guys right now. Let's take a look at, let's see, any questions in here? Bill Rosin says, how specifically are you gaining market share during this time? Anybody like to tackle that one?
I'm a big,
I mean,
Go ahead, Lauren.
go ahead.
It's a big one. Branding ourselves, being out there, doing these webinars, these classes, you know, keeping ourselves in the loop, just staying present.
So working, following your plan.
Same as last month.
Same as last month. I love it.
I also think there's a big opportunity right now, like you said earlier. I mean, the iBuyers and the hedge funds are pretty much out of the game right now. So, I mean, what's that, 18, 20% of the market? It's just kind of out there. And I think, especially for those realtors that are out there that are being proactive and that are following up with their database and reaching out and doing videos and sending thank you cards and staying topical and front of mind, are going to get some of that business. So, you know, I'm sure they'll be back, but, you know, how are they going to answer for bailing out in the middle of it? So,
Well, it's our opportunity to teach them too that we have value, and we can bring them that value. But that, like Karl said, they'll be back. So we need to take this opportunity now.
Have you guys noticed that it's not a matter any longer of should I use you as my agent? It's a matter of when should I use you as my agent? Like the interview process has gone away in my world. Like they need us now more than ever, right?
I think
I
that,
think they're kind. Yeah.
oh, go ahead, Carl.
Oh, I was just going to say, I had a conversation with a past client who wanted to talk about listing his daughter's home in Santan Valley yesterday, actually, and we probably spent 30 minutes on the phone just talking about what's going on, what's the market like, what's the market specifically like in Queen Creek and in Santan Valley, and is this the right time or isn't it? And you know, it wasn't necessarily to list her house next week. It was really to get a feel for what's going on, you know, where things are going, how things are right now. And I think, you know, we're definitely a wealth of resource and knowledge right now to our people, because we are out there on the front lines and we are in the middle of transacting real estate on all sides. So, and most people are kind of in their cocoon at home, only hearing the mainstream media and not really getting a lot of positive feedback at all when there are actually great things going on out in the marketplace.
A true message.
Yeah.
And I was just going to say too, I think it depends on, at least for me, I still have people who interview me. If it depends on their price point, it depends on if they're from my database or from a referral from my database. But if it's just somebody who cold calls me and wants to have me talk with them, I would just tell any new realtor or any realtor, don't worry about that. Go with who you are and your best foot forward and the best information you can provide, and that buyer or that seller will choose you if you fit. But it doesn't always work like that. But if it's from our database, we probably are going to get that listing or that buyer. It just depends on what that buyer and seller are looking for.
So we did a poll just a few minutes ago that a lot of, I don't know if you guys as panelists could see that or not. We asked the folks on Facebook or on our webinar, what are their top sources of business and what would you like to hear more about? And so overwhelmingly, pretty much everybody who answered put their sphere of influences. It looked like that was the top source of business for most agents. And then when they asked what they would like to hear more about for future sessions, they said social media and posting in that way. And, you know, I think there are a lot of great classes out there that talk about those things, and maybe we don't turn this into that today. With that said, though, the messaging around the social media, or let's just call it whatever it is, digital real estate, virtual real estate, Zoom real estate. So what are you guys finding that's working? And somebody asked that question about market share. What is working that is either keeping your market share or gaining you market share or business?
So I know from the perspective, because I do post a lot on social media, I think it's having a varied approach to it. You know, doing off the cuff videos of a sneak peek on a new listing, or doing a quick interview with one of your clients, or doing the market updates. I think it's being there on Instagram TV and on Facebook Live, and doing Marco Polos, directly to specific clients, and doing bombs to your database. I don't think you just do one thing, and there are some people that don't watch Facebook. There are some people that aren't on Instagram. So kind of a varied approach, that you are touching your database, your sphere of influence, or VIPs. But then also other people that are out there. So it's the way of the future. it's what we're all doing now. So if you're not doing it, you're missing out.
Absolutely. Oleg, it looks like you have something. Your box is lighting up.
A couple things. I know social media is really big and popular, and obviously we can get into a lot of houses, but just like every crisis we've had in the last 20, 30 years, if you go way back, Americans that have short-term, so yes, the social media is incredibly important right now. But in 6 months, 12 months, a year from now, I think the most important value, if anyone's on this listening, I would echo again, Lauren and Rebecca and Karl, is your CRM, and you, Denise, of course, your CRM is the most valuable asset you have, period. If you got to get away from texting, got to get away from emails. Everybody's home right now. Your best bet of calling somebody and answering the phone will be no better time than now. I can give you any advice. Not calling somebody at 5:30 after a long day at work, hoping to catch them when they have 2 kids that they got to make dinner for, or they're coming home and mom, dad, can you help me with homework? A lot of people, almost everybody's home, except unless you're in an essential business, which us realtors are part of. People are home, they're with their kids, they'll answer the phone. And if you make a connection on a personal level at this time in their life, that relationship is going to trump anybody that they see on Facebook with like, oh, look at this virtual open house I have. If that's your book of business, you will be bankrupt and out of this business in the next 6 months. Your database, your friends, your sphere. Be authentic, be honest, reach out to your people. They are in a time of need. And if you believe you're an expert, you should be advising them on everything. Maybe refinancing is the best option for them right now, right? Denise made a great point. A lot of people have tons of equity in their house. Maybe they refinance. You have a lender partner. Great, you're helping your lender. In 6 months, your lender's gonna be feeding you a lot of business. But if you think you're gonna be the next $1 million listing in Phoenix, we have no reality TV shows. We're not LA, we're not New York. They're not gonna
Or
call
San
you.
Diego, although Lauren is.
They're not gonna call you because they saw a video of you on Bravo. Call your database, clean up your database. That will take you for 10, 20, 30 years from now if you want to have a long running business, is my advice.
I've been having all my agents go through their entire database and just putting them on a completely different drip and then workflow. So it's like, and if they stay on the same one, that's fine as long as they've evaluated it. So I'm personally trying to go through, I'm trying to do like 12 a day of my own, just I know it's low, but
Still a lot.
I got troops I got to support. But so I'm really just been trying to go through and then I went through all my drips and workflows and I have a personal app for my team now to search homes in Arizona and San Diego. So we incorporated the app into it. So I kind of revised what those drips were saying because times have changed. So things do need to be changed and worded. And so I went and really updated the CRM. I mean, I wish my CRM, man, 20 years ago when I was a lender, someone introduced me to Top Producer and I was like, no, I don't want to spend that money. And, you know, man, I wish I did. I mean, my CRM is pretty strong now, but imagine if it was 20 years strong, you know? So the systems, you know, people don't want to do it, but there's a reason it's really important.
Excellent.
I would also say too, I think Karl said it, but there are people who are always going to be comfortable with video, Zoom, whatever walkthroughs. And there are going to be people who are never comfortable with that. And we did one of my clients, and it was $1 million listing. My client's a buyer. The seller wanted us to do a video. That was fine. But as soon as we hung up, my buyer said, I would never buy a home that way. Never. Okay. Yet I'm closing 2 homes that these people have never, one's in New York, he can't get here, never even seen them. You know, we've just done virtual. So there are people who are always going to be comfortable with that. And then people who aren't. I don't think we're ever going to be a market where people cannot go into a home and see it and touch it and feel, I wouldn't want them to. So, you know, I think there's going to be those buyers. We just have to listen. We have to understand our database and our clients and who is that buyer and who's the one who's comfortable with me doing, a FaceTime tour. So it's listening to them and understanding that there are different needs for different clients and then trying to adapt to that.
Absolutely. Who else? Anyone else? And folks, we are nearing the end. I'd like to open this up for questions. One of the, because I do a lot of these calls like this, I get to hear a lot of great content from across the country. And one of the funnest things, I'll say fun, and at the same time, I thought impactful, like how will this business change because of what we're experiencing now that we're never going to go back to, right? So this is not Denise's idea. I just stole it from a gal in Texas, and I did not catch her name on the call or else I'd give her credit. So gal from Texas, like she rocked it. Her team is doing about 240 transactions a year. And she has a team of 4 buyer's agents. And she said in Texas, the area in Texas, her county is pretty much locked down. So she said, we immediately took all the buyer leads and we are offering a digital buyer presentation. And she said, what is amazing, they sign up on the Zoom link or FaceTime link or Google over in the corner, whatever that thing's called. And she said they're given 3 options. They can click whichever one they want because people are comfortable with different ways. And she said, we go through all the buyer presentations right online. We have the buyer broker agreement where they can sign it and click it while they're doing it on a separate screen. And she said the whole thing takes us 20 minutes. We can show them houses here. We can talk about how we're going to, do a virtual tour of the homes, and you're only going to go in to see the ones because you think you're going to make an offer on it because that's their county, right? And she said she was pretty outspoken. Let me put it that way, personality wise. And here's how she said it. She goes, hey, you all, if you don't think that this is not going to change in our industry, you guys better get on the horse and do it. She goes, our industry is not going to go back. And if you don't jump on this now, you're going to be left out. And, I don't know about that left out completely, yet she said her clients are loving it. They're not having to go and meet at a coffee shop or, unknown, and they're doing everything online. And she says it's a pretty cool experience. So that's one thing that I've seen that I wonder if our industry won't see a lot more of that in the future. So questions, if you have questions, let's put them in the chat box. Here's what I'm going to, you get one of 2 questions, you guys, all right? You can either, what is one item of value that you would like to share that perhaps I didn't ask a question about that, is going to help an agent get business? Or you could simply tell us that secret, because this is Top Realtors Tell All. So you can do one of the other. Who would like to start off and wrap us up for today?
I can just tell you one thing. I think we focus very, very much on our clients. We focus very much on client relationships. And I probably would just add how vital, at least to me, my agent relationships are. So those agent relationships, if you're a new agent or you're an agent for 5 years and you've had good experiences, remember who those agents are. Make sure, I would say, I try with everything in me to make sure that my relationship with the agents stays smooth, because I, in the future, need that agent to bring buyers to my future listings, or vice versa. So I would just say that, it's easy to get upset at some of the way that agents do things, or maybe we feel like they're not doing things, but do your best to keep those relationships in place, because we are what helps feed each other too.
I love that. As my mom would say, be nice, it matters.
Yep.
I love it. Who else? I bet Karl's going to be the one who tells the secret.
Some of the things that were super important right out of the gate, when I think we first had shelter in place, I went from 20 to 25 appointments a week down to like 1 or 2. And that really, really rocked my world. I had major anxiety, couldn't sleep, totally freaked out, feeling extremely vulnerable, thinking, oh my God, I'm going to lose my team. I'm going to lose my brokerage. Everything's going to blow up. And this is going to be worse than 2009, which was pretty bad. And then, being a part of the coaching program I'm in, the core training, I have a great support network and a lot of mentors. And I reached out and started talking to some of my old coaches and some of my peers in the group, and just finding out how they were doing, and was reassured that the world's not ending tomorrow, and the next week got better and better, and last week was amazing. I think I put 5 deals into escrow and got a couple new listings, and my team is doing well too. I mean, they're still out there and they're still grinding it really hard and doing the best they can. And one thing, I guess it's not really a secret, but after that moment of major despair and anxiety and freak out, I'm like, I got to get back to what I do every day, every week. I got to get back to my team days, my team calling. I got to get back to my daily team meetings. I got to do my one-on-ones with everyone on my team. I got to stay connected, and especially, as a leader of my little tribe, I've got to be there for them, and I got to produce. I got to rainmake. I got to stay on top of it. If I don't, what are they going to follow? We got to be a beacon of hope. We got to be compassionate. We got to try to help others, and we have to be out there and make it happen. Because if we don't, we're going to get left behind. So my message is, stay true to the basics. You listen to Oleg and Lauren and Rebecca and what they're telling you. Connecting with your spirit, connecting with your database, cutting your expenses. Really look at your P&L hard. Make sure if you're spending money on something that it's worth it. Love on your team, love on your people. Take care of them. Send them unexpected gifts, send them a meal, whatever, just really get back to basics, and, be persistent and resilient and determined, and you'll be there if you do that.
I'd
Karl,
like to also add kind of what Rebecca was saying is, I think it's interesting how busy we were all before. And before we know it, we're going to be so busy every day. We're like, oh my God, I have 2 deals on the contract. People think it's the end of the world. What's so important is, as an agent, you should always take the opportunity to meet other agents. We talk about masterminding. This is nice that Denise put this all together with four separate agents that produce high volume or high dollar. But every day here at the brokerage, like we probably interview 4 or 5 agents a week. And we always had a model, like I'm not gonna take on somebody new, or I'm not gonna take somebody that, I actually, if anybody calls and asks for a meeting, I set it up. So my only advice is, even if you're new or experienced and someone's like, hey, you wanna meet me for coffee? The answer I get quite a bit is, oh, I'm too busy. And then I said, oh, well, how many appointments do you have today? Well, I have nothing, but I gotta, so we're never too, we make ourselves too busy, but we miss up an opportunity that can change your life. So when we get back to the quote unquote 4 deals a month per agent, you're not too busy to take a meeting with Karl. You're not too busy to take a meeting with Lauren or Denise or Rebecca. If an agent's calling you, it can't hurt to sit there and have the opportunity to talk to somebody who's been doing this for 20 years. Is the opportunity better? You have no idea. Is the opportunity worse? You'll know at the end of the coffee. But don't shut people down before you even set up a meeting. I wouldn't be here with having a great partner in my real estate business that we started almost 10 years ago if I shut myself out to opportunities. So opportunities come across our desk every single day. If you're too busy, you might have missed out an opportunity that would have changed your whole life. So that's my only advice as a going forward. And even now, I know we're not all too busy. Half of us are home. Like I said, some are homeschooling. You have time, 30 minutes for coffee. You have time for lunch. If agents are calling you, you should always take a meeting because you never know where it'll lead to.
I'm just basically always interviewing anyone I speak to.
Exactly.
Yep.
Even better if they don't know real estate, but they know sales.
That's
like,
right.
Sales,
That's right.
and you want to learn real estate, I'm your woman. Like,
Hey,
I mean,
Lauren,
there's no
Oleg,
secret. I'll tell you.
I like 2 creams, 0 sugar.
Sure.
Coffees for closers. Get to work. I'll let your 2 new assistants know. No, to this business. I mean, the secret is persistent prospecting. you're in business 1 week or 20 years, we're still prospecting every day. When I don't prospect, all of a sudden we're not getting all that new business. So whether it's current leads, sphere of influence. So I'm a really bad all over the place person. So I actually do time blocking, and I schedule my day, like my perfect week. And at first when I did it, I would fill it up and I would never be able to do it. It was just out of control. And then I learned from my business coach to leave blank spaces throughout the day. So now I started following it. And then I found when this pandemic started and I closed my office early in March and everyone's working from home, my schedule changed in the morning. So instead of going to the gym at 6, I was like 7:30 doing my workout right here in my bedroom. And so in the last 2 weeks, I went back to my normal schedule and I felt better. So I think during this crash or time home, it's like, I think everyone just needs to go back to their normal schedule, get back in the flow of things. I think offices are going to start opening back up soon. And then something else I really encourage everyone to do, if you're a realtor and you haven't finished your CE classes during this lockdown, get on it. There's so many free classes. SAR is offering it. So I really am and then right now my team, we're all required to do 2 webinar classes a week. Because normally you got to go places, chit chat, get there early. Now I'm just turning on my Zoom and watching videos and learning and podcasts. So I think this is a really good time to just, like someone else was saying, get connected.
So awesome. Anyone else had last thoughts? Who did we miss here? I'm waiting for that secret.
There is no secret. Hard work.
You're right.
According
from Lauren,
Really is the secret. There's not one. So.
You got a secret. For every dollar you make, take 10% and put in a separate bank account that you only can use to make more money.
There you go. You know what I love about this group? Here's what I wrote down. You know, I thought I was going to get some big secret, and here's what I heard. Go to work every day. Check your finances every day. Work on your database. Now, the content you deliver, I heard that was that 10% different, right? Change the content, right? Don't put out a movie night in your backyard, right? Work your regular calendar. Oh, we said that one like 8 times. I wrote it down twice. Connect with your database. Oh, we said that one. And go to work, right? Go to work. There's business everywhere. It has been just such a pleasure. I had so much fun talking and connecting with you guys. I really do like my coffee, and I close, so 2 creams when we meet, Oleg. And so here's what we're going to do for everyone who's on the call. We will be recording this and posting it. And, you know, I took pages of notes. If you would like the notes from this, I will be sending those out by email. I'll forward those, post them on Facebook. And we're going to do this next week. We have a different panel next week of top agents, top realtors tell all. So please tune into that. And of course, we're going to post this on a YouTube channel so you can go back and watch the past episodes. There was a couple of thoughts here. I'm going to throw up a quick poll just so we can, let's see this last poll. This is a quick evaluation. This just helps me. And we had a couple of folks mention, if you'd go ahead and vote there, just so we can see how we did today. Well, you guys will be happy to know that we were extremely valuable and very valuable. I love that. Oh, they're starting to change. Oh, see that? They're starting to change their mind and say that we are extremely valuable. So we'll share those results right there. I think that's so fun. I love testing all these new pieces of technology, right? And just so you know, you guys made an impact today. Monica Pineda says, thank you for your time and sharing with us. My biggest takeaway is right now clients will remember the authenticity and care we take connecting with them, and it leads to business and relationships. And Bill says, continue nurturing relationships, be the expert. The future client needs unique, meaningful, personal marketing. I love it. And Christy says, amazing. Hey, Christy, good to see you. Amazing panel. Thank you for your input and your time. You guys are amazing. I always end on time. Have a great week. Go sell something. And thank you so much. You're the best.
Thank you. Thank you.
See ya. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.